Okay guys, got my silly hat on. Oops. Oops a daisy. Okay guys, a little bit tired today. I haven't got my usual burst of energy. So I thought we'd go on the long lost footage channel. Dog hunt vlog. Sorry, 1 second. Got my silly hat on like I'm a bloody burglar. Oh, there's a car. Let's come over here. Right. Cheers. Okay, so let's just have a walk. A little bit under the weather today with my silly hat on. Slightly. Hang on, guys. Trying to get organised. Do I need this silly hat on? It's not really. I'm not looking good with this hat, am I? Look at the state of it. Yeah. Don't wear that hat again, Louis. That is probably the worst hat I've ever worn in my life. Do I need it on? Don't know. Not sure. So how we going? Elvis Presley long lost footage. I have posted the odd bits on here, not as often as I'd like to. I haven't been on here for about 3 days, 4 days maybe, because my wife went away. I normally do the dog walks on here. The reason I didn't is because my wife's mum took the dogs for 4 days, so I didn't have to walk the dogs. The problem is I did have to have the kids, which I loved having, by the way. I love having my kids, yeah. When my wife goes away, I love having the kids. But my kids don't like long walks, so they wouldn't come on long walks with me. We did a few park walks, but no long walks. So because of it, a walk that I do at least 3 times a day, I didn't do for 3 days, which is why I did a lot less long lost footage videos and a lot less keto videos. So I'm back to normal now, even though it's like getting on to gone 5 o'clock. Isn't it getting on to 5 o'clock? It feels earlier. It's very light, it's very mild. There is a bit of a wind, but you can hear the birds singing. It's a beautiful day, really. Even though it's coming to an end. I'm slightly under the weather today. Not much, just very slightly, like, you can tell that I've eaten something that my body didn't like. So I had quite a lot of peanuts. So it's like my body is saying to me, don't eat those peanuts. You guys know I'm on carnivore diet, keto diet. Basically, I've eradicated sugar, bread, pasta, rice, potato. I've upped the intake of all meats that are fatty. I keep the fat on the meat, and eggs. Drinking water. I've stopped drinking any fizzy drinks. Basically, ultra processed foods are gone. Almost nothing with sugar in, unless it's low carb. So like, I would eat strawberries or blackberries. I have the odd tangerine. So I'm 90% fatty meat and eggs, and I have found a little bit of salad I do allow. I found that has fixed my health problems. So I highly recommend the carnivore diet, the keto diet, and we use Dr. Ken Berry. Dr. Ken Berry is on YouTube. He has 3.5 million subscribers. He has saved tens of thousands of lives. So I definitely recommend Dr. Ken Berry. Look him up. You will be shocked how amazing he is, how many lives he has saved. So we're walking up the road. There is a bit of traffic. I've got my dogs with me, guys. Ella and Princess. Princess is nearly 16. She's half blind, half deaf. Ella is her daughter, she's nearly 13. So it's mother and daughter, and they're both very elderly. Princess is like pretty blind, but they are quite fit because we walk them every day, sometimes, you know, 2-3 times a day sometimes. They're still quite fit even though they're old. Bit grumpy. Psh. Here they are, see them? We love them. Obviously when they're really old, you're always worried that you're gonna wake up one day and they're like dead. I don't know what the average age is for a Jack Russell to live to. I actually don't know. I've heard they can live up to 20. Is that true? Right, so let's just come on. Whoa. I'm not a little bit achy today. Isn't it funny how if you if I slightly go off my food diet of keto or carnivore, I start feeling a bit achy. I did wake up at 5:45 in the morning, which is quite normal for me. Let me just get past these people. Okay, we're back. Hi Tony, just doing a quick walk. I thought I'd do it on, I've got my stupid hat on that makes me look really silly. I look like I'm gonna rob someone. I'm like a dodgy guy that lives down the road. I'm a guy who works down the chip shop, swears he's Elvis. I actually owned 3 chip shops. Isn't that weird? I owned 3 chip shops. I'm a guy who works down the chip shop. Should be, I'm a guy who used to own 3 chip shops. I even grew up in one. My dad actually had a chip shop, a fish and chip shop that sold burgers, hot dogs and kebabs. So I'm just walking down the road. We spent the day on the David Stanley topic. I suppose to an outsider, you know, watching in, looking in, it probably looks like I'm picking on him. It probably looks like I'm picking on David Stanley because I've done 4 live streams discussing Dave Stanley, exposing his betrayal of Elvis in front of Lisa Marie. In a weird sort of way, I suppose I am picking on him because I'm doing something that's going to hurt his feelings. But imagine how Elvis felt. This is how I see it. So I'm there exposing David Stanley. I'm going to expose Ricky as well. I'm also going to expose Dee Stanley as well for the disgusting things she said about Elvis. I will be doing something about Billy Stanley, but I'm not going to be mean to Billy. I'm going to be quite fair to Billy because Billy has made good with the book The Faith of Elvis, and Billy does defend Elvis. I think Billy's a good guy. He's made amends. Whereas I know Ricky's passed away, but I still think Elvis deserves being defended even by people that have passed away. So when we discussed Red West, Sonny West, they've both passed away, but I still think it's right that we expose their wrongdoing. Yeah, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. So my point is, guys, is that I have to expose Dave Stanley and it will hurt his feelings. But could you imagine how Elvis felt? How Lisa felt? This is what I say to people. People think, oh, you know, why are you talking about the Smiths? Eye for an eye. People talk about Hi Carolyn. People talk to me, why do you mention the Smiths? You know, the Smiths get a big following. And I have an answer. Because they betrayed Elvis. They also say lovely things about Elvis, but they still betrayed him. Billy, I'm talking about, yeah? But obviously today's topic is Dave Stanley. Why do I expose Dave Stanley? Because Elvis gave them such a good life. He took them on, 3 little children that were more or less abandoned by their mother to an orphanage. You know, I don't know the ins and outs. I'm sure someone's going to tell me more information, what went on between Dee and the 3 kids. Some will say it's none of my business, but we speak as Elvis fans. It is none of my business, but we still speak as Elvis fans. Billy, Rick, Dave were taken to gravestands, age 4, 7 and 6, to meet Elvis from an orphanage. Yeah, does that sound right to you guys? Tell me if I'm wrong. Elvis welcomed them. Elvis couldn't wait to meet them. Elvis loved the thought of having 3 stepbrothers and took them on as if they were his own kids. And so did Vernon. You know, Dee Stanley truly loved her boys, you know. Come on, we know that. All mothers do. They literally were giving a life that most people could never even dream of. Elvis was so good to these kids. Praying with them, eating with them, playing with them. Obviously he was very generous, buying them thousands of gifts, making sure they had a good life, a good education, making sure they were happy, giving everything they could dream of after having quite a tough start in life. Yeah, you're right, Debbie. We have every right to defend as Elvis fans. So you imagine that Elvis decides that he's going to take on these kids, obviously with Vernon, with Dee. Elvis was never a big fan of Dee Stanley, was he? So Elvis gives them a fantastic life. If you listen to Ricky and Dave and Billy discussing Elvis and the life they had growing up with him, they really did have a fantastic life. A life that is full of adventure. A life that we can only imagine, only dream of. Elvis made sure of that. He fulfilled all their expectations and much, much more. They couldn't believe their luck. It was a dream come true. Every day was a dream for the Stanleys. As they got older, things start to change. I don't know all the ins and outs, but they do even work for Elvis. Elvis really did care about their feelings. Elvis really did want them to feel loved, even when they were older. The circumstances leading up to Elvis's death are horrific, complicated. It does involve strong prescribed medications. Elvis was also very sick. But Elvis did keep them close by. I think they fell out a few times. Billy would come and go, Ricky would come and go, David would come and go. But Elvis always loved them, and it worked both ways. They loved Elvis. Now, we don't really know the complexities of the hard drugs. We have been told that Ricky and Dave took the hard drugs, the heroin, the coke. Is that right? Tell me if I'm wrong, guys. I'm no expert. There's a concern that they were looking after Elvis whilst they were very drugged up, whilst they were addicts. The Elvis fans worry what went on. The Elvis fans worry what went on with Ricky, with David, when Elvis was being looked after. Don't forget, they were looking after Elvis. You know, no different than any major star. Most major stars are looked after, waited on hand and foot, everything is got ready for them. Pretty normal. especially the way that Elvis worked, overworked, tour after tour after tour, even working extremely hard when he was very sick. Yeah, there's a lot of opinions, hi Debbie, about what went on. Hi Vincenzo. What went on with Elvis? What drugs were given to Elvis? Was Elvis controlled using his medication, his sleeping tablets, his uppers, and many other prescribed medications? The fans are worried. The fans have concerns for Elvis. Did it play a role in Elvis's death? No one will ever know, will they? Some people have messaged me saying that Rick was involved. Some people messaged me saying that Rick was involved, and they would obviously, there was a procedure to help Elvis wake up, to help him relax, to soothe his pain, to help him fall asleep. Some people worry that these procedures were used so that the Memphis Mafia, the Stanleys, maybe other people could go off and party, be with the girls, have fun, have parties with the girls. I've even been told that Ginger Alden may have took a sleeping tablet. That's quite an extreme thing to say, but I've been told that Ginger Alden maybe took a sleeping tablet that night. Yeah, so Tony just said about Ricky gave Elvis his meds the night before. So all of it is very worrying, concerning. They know the truth. Some people say to me that the inner circle, yeah, so Debbie says, I do believe much more went on. Some people say that the inner circle know what really happened. People like Joe Esposito, the Stanleys, they know what really happened, and things were kept hush-hush. No one will ever know. No one will ever know exactly what led to Elvis having a heart attack. You know, they give graphic details of how Elvis looked when he was found. Really details that we the fans don't even want to know, really. It's like they all made a pact. There we are, Debbie. We'll never know though, will we? Did they all make a pact of secrecy? But then, as the years go on, oh thanks Vincenzo, as the years go on, I have done quite a few Charlie Hodge videos. I've also done the Charlie Hodge videos talking about Elvis's health problems. I'll do it again. I want to cover Charlie Hodge again. Charlie Hodge is one of the good guys. The video you sent me, I've watched it many times, but thank you, Vincenzo. So this is the problem we have, guys. You've got Elvis is dead. He's buried. The world is mourning. Then you have the press, the magazines, you know, the tabloids, offering large amounts of money to these people that were around him, certain members of the Memphis Mafia, to the Stanleys, to the Smiths. We'll give you a large amount of money if you dish out the dirt. And many of these people took up the money, accepted the money. Even Ginger Alden, even Linda Thompson, the Stanleys, Billy Smith, ex-girlfriends, ex-wives, Priscilla Presley. They all accepted large amounts of monies to disclose very private details concerning what happened those last few days. And after, Priscilla takes it a step further. She writes a book in 1985. She rewrites history, she reinvents history. So Debbie, you just said that it looks like they're trying to shut me up, but I haven't felt that, Debbie. I haven't felt that people are trying to shut me up at all. Remember, everything we say is for entertainment purposes, just an opinion, not a fact. Everything on this show and all my shows is just entertainment purposes and opinions. I've never felt people are trying to shut me up, Debbie. I haven't really felt that. What I have felt is that I make people uncomfortable. I make many people uncomfortable, even people that are very big in the Elvis community. It could be the Smiths, it could be the Stanleys, it could be Priscilla, it could be, I don't know who else. I make them uncomfortable because I will talk about things that no one else will talk about. I do talk about things that no one else will talk about. I challenge the people that double-crossed Elvis, that betrayed Elvis. I definitely asked them for an apology. Rick Stanley was on duty the day Elvis died. So do I think people try and shut me up? No. But do I think people are worried about me? Yes, I definitely do. So you've got an Elvis community, a very cliquey Elvis community. And within that community, yes, I'm definitely getting things out there, 100%. I'm getting a lot of messages of people saying to me, thanking me for talking about all these topics. They're almost surprised that I'm talking about these topics. They're like, oh, this should have been said years ago. I'm so glad you're doing this. Speaking up about the Smiths, the Stanleys, Priscilla, the Memphis Mafia, certain members. People are thanking me every day. Go and read the comments on my YouTube channel. People are thanking me. Oh, finally, somebody's speaking up against these people that have been making money for 30, 40, maybe more, maybe even 50 years, trashing Elvis, sharing private details about Elvis that he would never want shared. David Stanley cleaned up the bathroom, getting rid of the pills before the ambulance arrives. Okay, thanks for saying so. That's interesting. Look, guys, we're not going to hide away from the fact that Elvis had a problem with prescribed medication. We're never going to hide from that. And some of the medications were probably very strong. Elvis probably did abuse the medication. Elvis probably was addicted to some of the medication, but it's not abnormal. You go to your doctor and he gives you a load of pills and you get addicted to them and you rely on them. I'm not shocked by any of it. Painkillers can be very strong and addictive, and you can get stoned on painkillers. So, you know, there's many prescribed medications that are very, very strong, that mind-altering, but they do relieve pain, they do soothe you, they do comfort you. Elvis was seriously sick. He needed his pain reduced. He had really bad colon problems. He was in a lot of pain just with his colon. He needed serious medications to help him. Dr. Nick never trashed Elvis. Well, I don't think he trashed him, but was Dr. Nick part of the problem? He definitely was. 100% Dr. Nick overprescribed Elvis. 100%. 100% Dr. Nick. There was a financial gain for Dr. Nick with loans, with money. I do think Dr. Nick loved Elvis. I do, yeah. But I also think Dr. Nick made serious mistakes. So I'm not going to stand here and defend Dr. Nick. He effed up. Dr. Nick effed up. He found it difficult to say no to Elvis, but he also did do his best to try and reduce the amount of medication Elvis took. In some ways, Dr. Nick extended Elvis's life and saved his life. You know, there's many stories, guys. There's many stories. I have done quite a lot of research of Dr. Nick, and it's a complicated story. I do believe Dr. Nick loved Elvis. Come on. I do believe Dr. Nick loved Elvis, but he also messed up. Joe Esposito screwed Elvis in the racquetball thing. Yeah, but do you know what? I've heard people keep bringing up the racquetball stuff, yeah? I've heard it many times. I don't really see it as a big deal. I don't see what the problem is. It was just a business venture that went wrong, that's all. I don't see that as a personal thing. It doesn't make me dislike him. Joe Esposito was one of the good guys. He made mistakes. He tried to play both sides. I know that people say he was a bit of a rat for Colonel Tom Parker, but I don't think Joe Esposito was that bad. I think he was okay. He made a few mistakes, okay. The racquetball thing didn't work out, but so what? It's a racquetball business, come on. Is there anything serious about a racquetball business going wrong? I will never hold that thing against him. Yeah, there was money exchanged and things went wrong and Elvis pulled out. I've read it all, I've heard all the stories. I get upset when people trash Elvis. That's when I get upset. By state of my hair. I get upset when people trash Elvis, call him an addict, say that he was depressed, say that he wanted to commit suicide. When I hear Dave Stanley saying that Elvis premeditated his death, planned to kill himself using prescribed medication, purposely ended his life, that pisses me off. That pisses me off because he would never have done that to Lisa. That's what I call betrayal, yeah? The type of books that Priscilla wrote, that's what I call betrayal. When I see Linda Thompson saying that Elvis nearly drowned in a bowl of chicken, that pisses me off. I saw an interview with Joe Esposito and Charlie Hodge the day Elvis died. They couldn't control the tears. Yeah, I've watched it many times. It's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. I think, well, it's clear that Charlie Hodge is one of the most trusted members of Elvis's Memphis Mafia, but even Charlie Hodge would upset Elvis because with his drinking. Charlie Hodge would drink too much, he would get too drunk. Elvis didn't like being around drunk people. Elvis had to warn Charlie many times. I personally, you know, as a fan, I don't see Charlie Hodge and Joe Esposito as a problem. Even Jerry Sealing, I don't know, Jerry Sealing, it's different. Right, guys, we're switching over to Elvis Presley fan on keto. Elvis Presley fan on keto. 1 minute.